understanding and appreciation of what that has meant to us. We now welcome you into the brotherhood and sisterhood of the Long Blue Line and hope that we meet up with you often in the future.
Go 71.
Go 21.
Go Bears.
Go Bears.
Hello, class of 2021. I wish you the Let me start over again. You want me to start? So I should say electrical?
Probably should do like 3 or 4 times.
All right, so I'll start again.
Do you want me to write it for you?
Welcome to the EE class of, I'm sorry.
All right, we'll try that again.
Are we trying to like be in sync, or are we just all being like?
No, you think we should just like, yeah, well, I'll just say it and then.
Yeah.
All right, we'll do one more. Just.
I want to offer my congratulations to the electrical engineering class of 2021. I wish you the best for this next year and your entire career. You've worked very hard, and like I said, I wish you the best.
On behalf of all of us, congratulations,
class of 2021.
Okay, so I start over again?
Class of 2021, congratulations. On behalf of the management department, we are so proud of you and we wish you all the luck in your future career. 1, 2, 3, congratulations!
Oh, hey, we didn't expect to see you here. Congratulations, class of 2021. It's been a big year. We are excited for your futures. Guys?
If you need help in the future,
Don't call us.
don't call us.
Congratulations, class of 2021.
Congratulations, class of 2021. Yeah, don't come back.
We will miss you at the dry dock. Fair winds and following seas. Take care.
On behalf of the chemistry section, congratulations, 2021.
Vincent Tyler Grills, First Lieutenant. Can't wait to have you guys join us in sunny St. Petersburg. Vincent Greer Smith, Support Officer, Assistant Navigator. Get salty. Can't wait to have you.
Hi, I'm Vincent Mayo, and I'm the student engineer, and we're happy to have you.
Ensign Alex Cortez, the Assistant Operations Officer. We're excited to have you guys, and we can't wait to start getting you qualified.
There's no place I'd rather be. Now the surfboard out at sea. Lingering in the ocean blue. And if I For you lucky ones, the Fab Five.
Welcome to Stone.
Oh, hi there. Welcome to Cutter Stone. Congrats on your orders. Make sure you always have your head on a swivel and stock up on caffeine.
To our new ensigns, Maddie, Mel, Ethan, Dylan, and Phil. Soak up every last minute of the academy. We can't wait for you guys to take our collaterals.
Admiral Kelly. Not sure if you remember me, but I'm First Class Madison Garvin, the one who 9 months ago asked if we could have Ashton Kutcher speak at our graduation. You told me if I wanted him, I could get him here. Well, with the help of a few cadets, I finally can now say I have the honor of introducing Mr. Ashton Kutcher.
What the hell is Ashton Kutcher doing here? I'm here to welcome you. I want to welcome you to a collective of people that understand and appreciate that this country is worth fighting for and defending. We may be broken in many ways. We may be an unfinished project in many ways. But we are the greatest project in the history of humankind. And we're worth defending, and we're worth fighting for. And you understand and realize that. I want to thank you for recognizing and realizing that. Not only for yourselves, but for generations to come. I want to thank you from me for defending and fighting for me. I want to thank you for defending and fighting it for my kids, for my kids' kids, because it's worth it. I've never gone through what you went through. I pretended to go through what you went through. Now, I spent my fair time in my fair share of time in a pool. I spent my fair share of time doing PT, learned about flight mechs and pilots and boatsmen, and I spent my fair time learning the culture and understanding the sense of what you went through, but I never went through it. But in my process, in my journey of understanding what you went through, I was able to meet some extraordinary people. Some extraordinary people that are you. And I want to thank you for the work that you put in. I do want to thank you for your service. I do want to thank you for your dedication. But those are all things that you had within you that existed before today. So welcome to that collective. Semper Paratus, Ura, so others may live. Congratulations.
As some of you recall, well, some of you may recall, last year for class of 2020, we had a fully virtual commencement. And Kevin Costner was among the speakers. And he spoke. And he spoke, and he spoke, and he spoke, and he spoke. And it was like, I think he thought he was like the commencement speaker. It just sort of went on. So, Ms. Garvin said, hey, like, why not Ashton Kutcher? And the soup said, sure, go get him. And she did, congratulations to Maddie, and thanks to the superintendent for living up to his word. That's a good segue, because that's kind of how we do it, right? Living up to our words, keeping our motto. You've heard it already many, many times, Semper Paratus, always ready. This phrase has been used by the Revenue Cutter Service and the Revenue Marine since the 1840s. But it really wasn't until the turn of the century where we got the song that everybody is familiar with. In 1922, Captain Francis Sultus von Boskirk, CO of the Yamacraw off of Savannah, and he wrote the words to it. And a few years later, in 1925, when he was clearly looking for something to do up in Alaska, he and some friends composed the music. So I direct your attention back to the scoreboard, where, ladies and gentlemen, you're going to hear the Coast Guard anthem, Semper Paratus, probably as you've never heard it before.
We are always ready for the call. Ponemos nuestra confianza en ti.
Maskiseya tu bosku zaninigua. Diduk iinangoku.
Semper Paratus is our guide.
Бороться и спасти или бороться умереть.
Aye, Coast Guard, we are for you.
Semper Paratus recounts the rich history of the United States Coast Guard, which is full of fascinating stories that simply don't get the attention they deserve. Here, via video, is one of those stories, the incredible odyssey of a man named Emlen Tunnell.
Born and raised in the Philadelphia area, Emlen Tunnell was both a Coast Guard hero and a trailblazer in the National Football League. On April 27, 1944, the Coast Guard manned cargo ship USS Edmund was unloading 6,000 tons of explosives and gasoline while anchored at Atape Harbor, Papua New Guinea. Without warning, the Edmund was attacked by Japanese aircraft. A torpedo blew a hole 27 by 27 feet in the ship's starboard side. With the shell platen and shaft alley of the Edmund ruptured, gasoline sprayed over the after part of the ship, creating a dangerous situation for all aboard. It was Coast Guard steward's mate, Emlen Tunnell, who came to the aid of machinist mate first class Fred Shaver, who was on fire, pulling him to safety and severely burning his own hands in the process. On March 17, 1946, Tunnell was nominated for the Silver Life-Saving Medal for once again saving the life of a fellow shipmate. His shipmate, Alfred Givens, fell off the dock of the Coast Guard cutter Tampa. Without regard to his own safety, Tunnell jumped into the 32-degree seas and rescued Givens. Tunnell saved his drowning shipmate, and despite being in the water for 15 minutes, only suffered exposure and shock. Following his service in the U.S. Coast Guard, Tunnell had a successful 14-year career in the NFL, playing for the New York Giants from 1948 to 1958 and the Green Bay Packers from 1959 to 1961. Sometimes referred by the nickname the Gremlin, he was known as one of the best pass defenders and punt returners in the NFL. He was a key element in the Giants' famed umbrella defense that shut down the passing game of opponents in the early 50s, and he was referred to as the Giants' offense on defense. Tunnell was the first African-American player to play for the Giants. He went on to become the first African-American scout, talent scout, assistant coach, and first full-time assistant coach in the NFL. In February of 1967, Emlen Tunnell became the first African-American and first defensive player to be inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame. In March of 2021, the U.S. Coast Guard Academy opened a $3.5 million Emlen Tunnell Strength and Conditioning Center to honor Tunnell's legacy. Funds for this 8,000 square foot facility were privately raised by the U.S. Coast Guard Academy Alumni Association. With 20 power lifting stations and a warm-up area, exercise bikes, treadmills, and a 75-foot artificial turf acceleration zone, this first-of-its-kind facility accommodates approximately 80 people at one time. The center is a fitting tribute to Tunnell, an outstanding athlete and Coast Guard hero. The Coast Guard has named its 45th Sentinel-class cutter the USCGC Emlen Tunnell, which will be commissioned this fall. Emlen's legacy of strength and courage will live on in this facility and inspire cadets to reach their full potential in fields of play, in their careers, and in life.
Work it, make it, do it, makes us vulnerable.
Bonnie, Kyle, Bridget, Aaron, Stephanie.
much longer. I know I got to be right now, cause I can't get much stronger. Man, I've been waiting all night now. That's how long I've been on ya. I need you right now. I need you right now. My father told me.
Hey, good afternoon, Ensign Lalonde and Ensign Pelsick. Welcome aboard to Coast Guard Cutter Realm. Look forward to seeing you in July.
Yeah. Wanna get a mansion, a jacuzzi, a theater to watch my movies, couple whips and lots of fancy things. The kids they call the Goonies. I see the future, crystal ball, mirror hanging on the wall. Who the fly white boy of the mall? Got your girlfriend screening all the calls. She bubbling.
There once was a ship that put to sea. The name of the ship was a Billy of Tea. The winds blew up her bow, up down below my bully boys blow. She'd not been 2 weeks from shore when down on her a right whale bore. The captain called all hands and swore he'd take that whale in tow. Soon may the wellerman come to bring us sugar and tea and rum. One day when the time is done, we'll take our leave and go.
To the great class of 2021, it's graduation day. You've made it, and we're so very proud of you.
Congratulations to the moms and dads and loved ones. Enjoy this wonderful day. You deserve it.
Go Bears!
What makes the world's best Coast Guard? It's not our cutters. It's not our aircraft. It's our people. The U.S. Coast Guard maritime professional. The human connection we create when we train and work alongside partners around the world. Whether it is supporting combatant commanders in protecting national interests, working with our partner nations to protect the world's oceans, defending free and open trade in the Indo-Pacific, or preserving and protecting national resources and interests in the Arctic. The U.S. Coast Guard models acceptable maritime behavior across the globe to bring stability and security, not with a domineering spirit, but rather a cool and even-tempered perseverance in our duty. No one else can do what we do. We are the world's best Coast Guard.
Well, you just heard it there. What makes the world's best Coast Guard? Off to your right, you're looking at what makes the world's best Coast Guard. Your sons and daughters are leaving Roland Hall for the last time as cadets. A beautiful building that they've struggled in and played golf in and done high jumps in and taken exams in. And this is the last time you'll think of that building as cadets. And in a few hours, we will be welcoming the brand new ensigns into the United States Coast Guard. After the procession and entrance of your cadets, the faculty will come in. You'll see them in their resplendent robes with the various insignias of their schools and their programs. And following the arrival of the faculty, we will welcome the official party, coming from my right, your left, from the Alumni Center, featuring, of course, Joseph R. Biden, the 46th President of the United States. It is now time for me to take my leave of you. Thank you for your time and attention. But before I go, I'm going to leave you with one more set of words and images. These are the founding words of the United States Coast Guard. The famous letter of instruction from Alexander Hamilton, the first Secretary of the Treasury, that he gave to the first COs of the first 10 cutters. This goes back to the very beginning of our Coast Guard, the very beginning of our nation. I direct your attention to the scoreboard. Thank you very much, and congratulations.
To the class of 2021, the first words of advice to the officers of the Revenue Marine came from our service's founding father, and those words are still relevant today. The Academy class of 1963 thought so much of Hamilton's letter of instructions that they embronzed it in the statue now adorning the hall that bears his name, in order to, and I quote, foster future generations' understanding of and appreciation for his perseverance and courageous leadership, and be therefore even better prepared than we to be always ready to serve country and humanity, end quote. As the chair of your Alumni Association's Board of Directors, I join our fellow alumni as we pass this charge from Secretary Hamilton through the long blue line and on to you as you prepare to stand the watch. The long blue line now presents Hamilton's letter of instructions to commanding officers of the Revenue Marine. From Treasury Secretary, June 4th, 1791.
As you are speedily to enter upon the duties of your station, it becomes proper briefly to point them out to you. Accordingly, I send you a copy of the act under which you have been appointed, in which are contained your powers and the objects to which you are to attend.
It may be generally observed the province of the revenue cutter to guard all revenue laws against infractions or broaches upon the coast or within the bays or upon the rivers and other waters of the United States.
The officers of the revenue cutters are to be deemed officers of the customs and enumerates certain powers with which they are to be invested.
It will be expected that a regular journal be kept in each cutter and that all occurrences relative to the execution of the laws and to the conduct of all vessels which come under their notice be summarily noticed therein.
While I recommend in the strongest terms to the respective officers activity, vigilance, and firmness, I feel no less solicitude that their deportment may be marked with prudence, moderation, and good temper.
They will always keep in mind that their countrymen are freemen and are impatient of the least mark of a domineering spirit.
They will therefore refrain with the most guarded circumspection from whatever semblance of haughtiness, rudeness, or insult.
If obstacles occur, they will remember that they are under the particular protection of the laws, and that they can meet with nothing disagreeable in the execution of their duty, which these will not severely reprehend. This reflection and a regard to the good of the service will prevent at all times a spirit of irritation or resentment.
They will endeavor to overcome difficulties by a cool and temperate perseverance in their duty, by address and moderation rather than by vehemence or violence.
The foregoing observations are not dictated by any doubt of the prudence of any of those to whom they are addressed.
These have been selected with so careful an attention to character as to afford the strongest assurance that their conduct will be that of good officers and good citizens.
But in an affair so delicate and important, it has been judged most advisable to listen to the suggestions of caution rather than of confidence.
All officers appointed pursuant to this act, the 1st of June, 1789, requires that you take the oath of office to support the Constitution of the United States. I am your obedient servant, Alexander Hamilton, Secretary of the Treasury. Similarly, 2021, it has been my honor to be your obedient servant. Congratulations.
Next up is 4. And pause. And knelt to the chief.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the 140th commencement exercises of the United States Coast Guard Academy. I am Captain Rick Wester, the Assistant Superintendent of the Academy. Please remain standing for the arrival of the official party and the rendering of honors. The rendering of honors includes a 21-gun salute. Please expect loud cannon fire. Military personnel, 10 hut. Now, Coast Guard Academy arriving. Now, Coast Guard arriving. Now, Homeland Security arriving. Now, United States of America arriving. Hand salute. Ready, two. Please remain standing for our national anthem. Military personnel, hand salute. Ready, two. Please remain standing. At this time, I invite Professor Janet McLeavy to the front of the stage. As mace bearer, Professor McLeavy is the member of the faculty with the longest service at the United States Coast Guard Academy.
The 140th commencement exercises of the United States Coast Guard Academy are now convened.
Chaplain Kimberly Kane, United States Coast Guard Academy, will now deliver the invocation.
I invite you to pray with me or observe or hold intention as I pray aloud in my tradition. Gracious and loving God, on this festive occasion, we pause to celebrate and give thank offerings of praise for the U.S. Coast Guard class of 2021, who have selflessly chosen to serve our great nation and the cause of freedom. While they come from diverse backgrounds and bring with them a wide variety of life experiences, they share one thing in common, and that is, God, the desire to serve and make a difference in our world. They are the future leaders of our beloved Coast Guard and our nation, and as such represent the very best of our nation has to offer. God, we truly give thanks for their commitment, courage, and determination over these past 4 years. And we pray that you, O God, will bless their journey and continue to train them up with integrity. Lord, we are thankful for all who serve our Coast Guard, who are dedicated each day to the preservation of freedom. May your grace and mercy continue to empower these young leaders as they move to take their rightful place among the rich traditions they will inherit. Grant them, Lord, your wisdom, guidance, above all, your protection. We commend the interest of our nation to the protection of your sovereign hands. Please bless this day and this great ceremony and celebration and achievement. Through your grace we pray. Amen.
Thank you, Chaplain. Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. Platform party and presenters of commissions. please join the class of 2021 and uncover. All other military personnel, please remain covered throughout the ceremony. I now have the pleasure of introducing the 42nd Superintendent of the United States Coast Guard Academy, Rear Admiral Bill Kelly.
President Biden, Governor Lamont, Secretary Mayorkas, Admiral Schultz, public and community leaders, distinguished alumni, military veterans, faculty, staff, and coaches, Corps of Cadets, family and friends. Good morning, and welcome to the home of the Officer Corps for the United States Coast Guard. To the great class of 2021, good morning and congratulations. You did it. You have navigated the 200-week journey, you have led the Corps of Cadets through a global pandemic, and you have sprinted through the tape and have arrived here today at the starting blocks for what I am certain will be an amazing journey. This is certainly a great day for the Coast Guard Academy and for our Coast Guard. I'd like to take this opportunity to recognize the Coast Guard Academy Class of 2020. So many colleges and universities are holding multiple graduations this spring to recognize this year's graduates, as well as the graduates of the Class of 20 who missed out last year. We don't have that privilege in the United States Coast Guard because the officers who graduated virtually last year are standing the watch across the nation and literally around the globe today. And the cadets assembled before you will be joining them in the weeks to come. Would you please join me in a round of applause for the members of the Class of 2020 who are standing the watch? Moms and Dad, and the family support network that was so important to the Class of 21 throughout their academy experience, thank you. You were with this class every step of the way, during a period like no generation of family has ever been through before. Your guidance and your support allowed these cadets to receive a well-earned diploma and a hard-earned commission. I hope you take great pride in what they have accomplished and what they will accomplish in the years to come. Mr. President, thank you so much for presiding over today's ceremony. It is an honor and a privilege to have you on board our Service Academy, sir. Sir, the women and men you see assembled before you are ready in all respects to serve as leaders of character in our service. They are prepared to uphold their oath, to protect and defend our great nation. And I can attest with great certainty that they are ready to serve wherever and whenever our nation needs them. Thank you again for being with us today, sir. Class of 21, your class motto is Nos Future Facimus. Translated, we are the future. Today, you begin to live your motto. I am excited to see what your class will accomplish for our service and for our nation. It has been the honor and privilege of my life to serve as your superintendent for the past 2 years, and I wish you fair winds and great success. Finally, congratulations to our amazing faculty, coaches, and staff who prepared the Class of 2021. To the family and loved ones who supported them, and the nation who will benefit from their service. We truly have much to celebrate, and as we like to say around the 103 acres, Semper Paratus and forever, go Bears! Of the 240 young men and women graduating here today with the Class of 2021, 7 are international cadets who have proudly represented their nations while greatly enriching our Academy and our Corps of Cadets. At this time, we invite these international cadets, along with members of their national delegation, to stand when their country and names are called. These graduates will return to their countries and serve with distinction in their armed forces. From Georgia, Sandro Stadjeze, and Nicolos Tivildiane. From the Philippines, Daisy Ann Lasaka Atian, Jenison Kangurungan Basilio, Diane Shira Lansangan Boswell, and Eric Joseph Dianco Noble. And from Sri Lanka, Wishwa Fonsaka. Please join me in a round of applause. Thank you, and you may be seated. I now have the privilege of introducing this year's distinguished graduate. The distinguished graduate is the cadet who graduates with the highest military precedence average, which includes the academic, military, and physical components of the entire 200-week program. It is with great pride that I introduce this year's distinguished graduate, First Class Sean Seiler. First Class Seiler is from Tucson, Arizona. His parents, Steve and Kim Seiler, are with us today. He is a government major with a concentration in politics, policy, and law. During his senior year, he was part of the International Law of Armed Conflict Capstone Group, where his syndicate tied for first place in the 19th competition on the law of armed conflict in international humanitarian law for military academies. At the competition, First Class Seiler played an integral role in advising a military commander on complex legal and geopolitical issues through cooperation with more than 9 other nations. During second class year, Cadet Seiler went on exchange at the United States Air Force Academy and proudly represented the United States Coast Guard as a member of Squad 26, where he was able to forge inter-service relationships and learn about a sister service while simultaneously sharing the traditions of the United States Coast Guard. In response to the significant impact the COVID-19 pandemic imposed on students, First Class Seiler teamed up with First Class June Wenzel to create a remote tutoring program that allowed U.S. Coast Guard Academy cadets to assist students from local elementary schools with academics and mentorship. This program provided critical support to the local community during a tumultuous time and allowed cadets to continue serving their community in the COVID environment. Upon graduation, First Class Seiler will depart to Washington, D.C. and report to the U.S. Coast Guard Cyber Command. It is my pleasure to introduce the distinguished graduate, First Class Cadet Sean Seiler.
Good morning, President Biden, Governor Lamont, Secretary Mayorkas, Admiral Schultz, Admiral Kelly, Dean Colella, distinguished guests, family, friends, and of course, the great class of 2021. I am honored to speak to you today and humbled to act as a representative of our incredible class. Wow, it has been an unconventional year. We went from spending 3 months at home last March to returning for a 14-day quarantine in June, heading out to the fleet for summer assignments, returning for another quarantine in August, and who would have thought we would be gathered here today after 2 academic semesters sprinkled with highs, lows, and COVID scares. But today, our 200-week leadership journey comes to a close, and we stand moments away from commissioning as ensigns in the United States Coast Guard. And could there be any place more fitting for this to occur than Cadet Memorial Field? The place we completed our last push-up of SWAB Summer. The place we gathered to recognize the champion of the coveted Intercompany Quarantine Cup. The place where we had snowball fights and attended countless football games. And as the name suggests, the place we honor our fallen shipmates, such as Lieutenant Junior Grade Morgan Garrett, through Workouts to Remember. Cadet Memorial Field is so much more than a field. It represents both the beginning and the ending of our time as cadets, and will forever be marked with our first steps as officers. So yes, I think it's fitting that we stand on this field and commemorate the accomplishments of our class. But we didn't do this alone. Mom and Dad, and all the families, friends, faculty, and members of the Academy community who offered a shoulder to cry on, gave us nudges when it was necessary, and most of all, cheered us on. Thank you for making us into the people we are today. Thucydides, a Greek historian and general from the Peloponnesian War, once stated, "Any nation that draws too great a distinction between its scholars and its warriors will have its thinking done by cowards and its fighting done by fools." The Coast Guard Academy is unique because along with the other service academies, it graduates both scholars and warriors. Given the amount of time we've spent in the classroom, power lab, tow tank, and navigation simulators these past 4 years, we have proven ourselves to be scholars. Individuals such as First Class Selena Bantz, who received a Fulbright scholarship to study renewable energy systems in Finland, and First Class Jacob Cheeseman, who perfected the art of asking the professors a question and then falling asleep as they provided an answer. Provide a daily reminder of the amazing scholarship among our class. But we are also warriors. Along with the traditional demands of life at an academy, we are the class that confronted challenges in mental health, social justice upheaval, and a global pandemic simultaneously. We are the class that started leading clubs as third class, the class that started memos that rethink mental health procedures on base, the class that was sent home, the class that is missing some shipmates today. We are the class of 2021. Our class was forged in adversity and uncertainty. Our finest hours occurred when there was no playbook nor guide. The COVID pandemic was one of these events, but there were many more. In response to issues in our service, the Cadets Against Sexual Assault and Harassment program, led by First Class Etta Davis, began the difficult process of rethinking the culture at the Academy to better combat sexual harassment and assault, and even helped influence change at the service level. In response to the social justice issues confronting our nation, the Genesis Club, under the leadership of First Class Chancey Brown and First Class Kennedy Starks, invented a corps-wide process to foster an honest dialogue about race and identity, where we learned about the experiences and struggles of our shipmates whom we had never taken the time to understand. In the face of growing awareness of mental health, Cadet Peer Support, led by First Class Emma Sims, First Class Edmund Huminski, and First Class Owen Hurley, redefined our perception of emotional well-being, which helped to educate and shape us into more empathetic leaders of character, ready to serve those around us. When we were stuck in our rooms and could not interact with one another last fall, First Class Stephanie Burkhardt initiated a new program called Pulse Check to ensure every member of the Corps was checked in on every single week. She, along with so many other First Class, made a difference. These stories highlight the many unexpected challenges our class faced and the innovative and tireless efforts we made to take the first steps toward addressing them. We were thrust into chaos for the better part of our cadet years. But rather than wait for the next person to step up, we took the lead. We built the momentum. This is why I am so humbled and grateful to be a member of the class of 2021 and to be able to call every single one of you my shipmate. This last year has shown us just how special that relationship can be, which many of us took for granted until we were thousands of miles away from the people we were used to seeing multiple times a day. Now, did our solutions to these problems always work? Certainly not. Just ask the class council about the parking memo they routed approximately 20 times for second-class parking privileges that was recognized as completely logical and perfectly formatted, but the answer was just no. But in the end, there is nothing we would rather be known for more than the ability to be comfortable being uncomfortable, to be able to affect change in the midst of chaos. If we shift our perspective out of our academy bubble, away from the exams, sleepless nights in MAC, 0700 drill practices in the blistering cold, lengthy room inspections, regimental reviews, and metric tons of caffeine that we consumed, and take a glimpse at the challenges of our generation, we quickly realize they demand exactly what we are, leaders of character who perform at their best in a dynamic environment. And amid all this adversity, we still found ways to have fun. Remember fourth class year when then fourth class Zingarella, Ballone, and Lalonde were detained by Merchant Marine Academy security for trying to replace their ensigns with Coast Guard ensigns and put cheese all over their anchors? Or when we sailed to Cuttyhunk during Coastal Sail's second-class summer and had a lobster dinner while watching the sun set across a radiant New England sky. Think back to this past summer, during our 2-week quarantine before heading out to our summer assignments, when we were the only class on base and had no academic or military responsibilities. If you were able to dodge COVID, that was actually a pretty fun time. Today is both a beginning and an ending, the last page of a chapter and the first of another. But as I look around, I can certainly say there is no one else I'd rather be sharing this moment with. Our class motto is, "We are the future." Who could have predicted 4 years ago it would prove to be so fitting? As we leave here today, let us take pride in the fact that we may not have all the answers. We don't have all the answers, but we have the passion, courage, and perseverance to find them. We are scholars, we are warriors, we are a family, and we are the future. Go class of 2021, and go Bears. Thank you, sir. It is now my privilege to introduce the Commandant of the Coast Guard, Admiral Carl L. Schultz.
Well, good morning. I'm not sure I want to follow the distinguished graduate who quotes Euclides. I remember that guy 40 years ago that might have been sleeping during the answer to the question. I might have known a cadet like that. But Mr. President, Mr. Speaker, or Mr. Secretary, Governor Lamont, Mayor Passero, we have former Senator Chris Dodd from the state of Connecticut, Congressman Joe Courtney, parents, families, friends, and most importantly, today, the Coast Guard Academy class of 2021. What a beautiful and exciting day it is for our flagship institution's 140th commencement exercises. You know, it was 1 year ago, as Admiral Kelly alluded to, that him and myself, the Dean, a couple others were on this stage for an extremely well-orchestrated virtual commencement with the class of 20. And as great as an event that was, I am elated to be back in New London today with our President and our class of 2021, all here in person to graduate and commission the newest officers into the United States Coast Guard. And we talked a lot in this past year or so, but we are absolutely stronger when we are together. Let me start by noting that this summer, after 33 plus years, including 15 years service as the Dean of Academics, a real special guy around here, Kurt Colella, Captain U.S. Coast Guard, retired once before, will now retire a second time, this time as Dr. Colella. And Kurt, I'd like to thank you as Dean for your decades of truly unrivaled professionalism, dedication to the development of future Coast Guard officers that fill our ranks today across the globe. Please join me, if you would, folks, for a round for Dean Colella. Then let me also take the opportunity to welcome Dr. Amy Donahue, our new provost, our first provost, who comes to our academy with a truly impressive resume. Dr. Donahue, it is great to have you on the Coast Guard Academy Bears team. And to the friends and families of our soon-to-be graduates and newly minted ensigns, as well as our remarkable, dedicated staff, coaches, and faculty, thank you for your unwavering support of our cadets. This past year has been uniquely challenging, and you should be rightfully proud in sharing in today's celebration. And I'd like to add my thanks to the international cadets and those senior members of the respective services here today. Our international cadets absolutely enrich the experience of our Coast Guard Academy cadets as they go out and ply the waters and interact with navies and Coast Guards and armed forces around the world. Thank you for being here these last few years. And to the class of 2021, while the 200-week cadet experience is known to be quite arduous, your class stuck together to overcome truly unique, arduous, demanding circumstances, challenges to reach this moment. And soon I will ask each of you to raise your right hand and swear an oath to protect and defend our Constitution, a written set of ideals foundational to who we are and who we aspire to be as a nation as you enter commissioned service in the United States Coast Guard, the world's best Coast Guard. Ours is an organization committed to securing the homeland, enhancing our economic prosperity, and advancing our national security interests around the globe. Ours is a big portfolio of responsibilities for a rather small service, and each of you will immediately play a significant role at your respective first units contributing to our mission success. For years, I've admired the bias for action of our Coast Guardsmen that they bring to their duties each and every day, and I've often remarked just how you absolutely excel in building and leveraging relationships and partnerships, be that within local communities, be that across the interagency, the joint service environment, or across the globe. I attribute much of our organization's success to the trusting relationships forged through these partnerships and the actions of our Coast Guardsmen, actions informed by our core values cultivated right here in New London, Connecticut. These core values, our core values, honor, respect, devotion to duty, will continue to guide your actions as you save mariners in distress, thwart illicit activities, respond to disasters, or advance the international rules-based order across the world's oceans. And during the course of your respective careers, these core values will guide your actions, inform your actions, as you forge networks to solve complex problems and achieve common goals. And I suspect that you will quickly discover that collaboration is the key to strengthening maritime safety, security, and environmental stewardship. Within the United States Coast Guard, our ability to collaborate is powerful. And as our Commander-in-Chief, President Biden, says, we lead not only by the example of our power, but by the power of our example. Exemplary Coast Guard behavior can be found across the globe, whether projecting sovereign presence and conducting science in the high latitudes of the Arctic and Antarctic, whether thwarting illegal, unregulated, unreported fishing activities across the vast Indo-Pacific region, combating transnational criminal organizations in the temperate waters of the Caribbean Basin or the Eastern Pacific Ocean, or enabling $5.4 trillion of annual economic activity, fueling 30 million jobs spread across our domestic marine transportation system. These exemplary Coast Guard behaviors and their related successful mission outcomes are typically led by Coast Guard Academy graduates, like yourselves, soon to be. And without hesitation, I can attest to the increasing demand, an almost insatiable demand for our services, for Coast Guard operational capabilities and people-to-people partnerships worldwide. And you ask why? Because the Coast Guard delivers solutions. We excel in the maritime domain and in a global economy where 90% of the world's traded goods are transported at sea. The maxim that maritime security is national security rings wholly true. Our mission excellence at home enables our collaboration abroad. And coastal states worldwide seek to protect their sovereign interests and bolster their maritime security. Typically, they see the United States Coast Guard as both a model and a partner in those endeavors. So to the class of 2021, I am confident in your abilities to ably participate in these noble endeavors. I am confident in your abilities to strengthen our local, national, and global partnerships, and I am confident in your ability to lead through the power of your example. Congratulations on reaching this Commencement Day milestone, and on behalf of our entire service, I call you with welcome arms to the United States Coast Guard, and I hearken to your class motto, already heard, but we are the future. I can't wait to see where you will steer our Coast Guard in the decades and generations to come. And now I have the privilege to welcome a leader with a distinguished history of public service, an ardent supporter of the women and men of the Department of Homeland Security, and Department's 7th Senate-confirmed Secretary of Homeland Security. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming the Coast Guard Service Secretary, the Honorable Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas.
In all that we do, we have the opportunity to bring honor. We can bring honor to our colleagues, to our shipmates, to the institutions of which we are a part, to our families and communities, and to those who came before us and in whose memory we serve. Thank you, Admiral Schultz, for your distinguished leadership, for the honor you bring to the Coast Guard, to the Department, and to our nation. On this special day, and in your last moments as cadets, we celebrate your achievement, earned through your love of country and 4 years of dedication. You challenged your strength on the field and in the Thames, stretched your intellect in Satterley and McAllister halls, and tested your mettle in your summer assignments. Now, as commissioned officers of the United States Coast Guard, you will bring honor to the more than 230 years of history that have made our Coast Guard the proud, noble military service that it is. That history was built by coasties who sailed through breaking waves to keep America safe, and those who flew through hurricanes to execute our mission. Of course, we can't leave out the pilots. You are all part of the long blue line. Each of you also has the opportunity, in fact, the responsibility, to build a better Coast Guard for each other and for those whom you will lead into the future. You are new leaders. You will lead with honor, and honor will be the reward for what you give. I have been granted the greatest honor of my life to serve in the cabinet of President Biden and to help execute his vision for America of all that we can be and for the world. His leadership is defined by honor, and it is defined by his respect for the dignity of every individual. Honor and dignity, let these be the touchstones of our leadership too. President Biden and First Lady Dr. Jill Biden know the sacrifices you and your loved ones make in the pursuit of military service. They know what it means to watch as a loved one leaves for duty, uncertain of the dangers that await. And they know the pride that comes from that service. Class of 2021, I salute you, and it is my honor to welcome the 46th President of the United States of America, President Joe Biden.
Mr. Secretary, thank you. Hello, Coast Guard Academy. I tell you what, we're going to speak for about 4 hours to see if those white uniforms last longer to keep the heat away than these poor guys in their graduation gowns here. God love you. I thought I was hot in a blue suit. Governor Lamont, it's good to see you, man. You've been a good friend a long time. And I understand the senior senator from this state for a long time, Chris Dodd, is here. I don't know where you're. I don't think you're in the class, Chris, but you want to. Where is he? Chris, welcome, pal. One of the finest men I've ever served with in my whole career. And Mayor Pissarro, I want to thank you for being here. Thanks for the passport into town. And I want to thank again Secretary Mayorkas for joining me today as well. He understands well how vital the Coast Guard is to our economic, our environmental, and our national security, and how central you are to our Homeland Security mission. Admiral Schultz, congratulations on an outstanding new Corps of officers. This past year, there can be no doubt, Class of 21 is ready for whatever its mission may be. I know this day is doubly important to Admiral because he's not only the Commandant of the Coast Guard. Well, let me say it another way. In 2013, I think I gave the commencement here, and I was pointing out how the Coast Guard was adapting so rapidly to changing conditions. And I said, this is not your father's Coast Guard. I take that back. First Class Eric Schultz, this is your father's Coast Guard. And I know it probably embarrasses me to point you out and say that, but I had a son in the United States military. He was very proud. He was a Major U.S. Army, won the Bronze Star, anyway. And when he went to Iraq for a year, he got the general to agree to change his name from Biden to Hunter, his mother's maiden name, because he didn't want to be viewed as having gotten any favors. Admiral Kelly, I want to thank you and the entire staff of the Academy for your commitment in training the next generation of leaders. And I brought with me a former Academy grad who now serves as my Coast Guard Mille, Lieutenant Commander Jana, now I'm going to embarrass her, Jana McCrone of the class of 2007. As we were coming in Marine One, I thought she was going to light up like a candle. She's so excited being back here. She's an outstanding reflection of this institution. And Admiral Kelly, I want to congratulate all of you on everything you've done this year to keep this school open and running. and to be as safe as it possibly could be in the middle of a pandemic. You know, the instructors, the cadets, the cafeteria, the support staff, public works, the campus safety team, the science department, the medical staff, the morale, well-being, and recreation team, everyone went above and beyond the normal call of duty to try to make it work, and you did. And I hear that Mrs. Paula Springer's cookies for cadets were particularly a boost in morale. And what you all achieved together embodies the Coast Guard creed: always ready, always ready. I want to thank you. Cadet Seiler, for speaking on behalf of your class, and congratulations on earning the honor of being the class of 21's distinguished graduate. But most importantly, I want to thank your parents and families for everything they have done to support you and all of you, and and those watching online as well. There's not all can be here. You've raised these cadets to be fierce patriots, as well as young people of incredible courage and determination. You are the ones who first installed in them the sense of service, who helped them hear the calling of higher duty. So it's your day, too. Cadets, stand up, turn around, and salute your parents. Get up, 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 up. I tell you what, and all those parents watching on television, you raised a fine, fine, fine group of women and men. Cadets, you knew when you chose the academy you were choosing a more difficult path than some of your high school classmates. You were signing up for the honor of service and the additional responsibilities that go with it. But I hope today you take the time to reflect on how much all the hard work and extra effort you engaged in was worth. And I hope that you take immense pride in all that time at the Academy and all the Academy has given to you, because you've achieved something few others can claim. You survived our day and billet night. You made it through swab summer. You got a haircut that showed every damn bump in your head. You learned to square the corners and square your medals. Look, your meals, I should say. And you memorized, and this is the part I found would have been hard, memorize running lightning. I'm going to ask you all to stand up and repeat it. No, I'm only kidding. You earned your shoulder boards and your aiguillettes. You passed through 100th week and maybe spent a little too much time at the slice. You can clap. Come on, man, you're moving on. Show a little courage. And like all the students across the country, you had to figure out what it meant to finish your second-year class with virtual instruction. The pandemic upended so much of our lives, as was mentioned several times so far. Last year's graduating class didn't get to have this ceremony in person. But Coasties fashion that you all have, you met the threat head on. You adapted, showed your resilience, and you led. The class of 21, you were the ones to test and improve the restricted movements protocols that allowed you to return to class on campus. And with careful precautions and regular testing, you were able to go back to your lives and training here in New London to conduct your first-year class in person. It certainly looked and felt different, I'm sure, but you found ways. You found ways to keep many of the Academy's traditions alive and maybe even formed a few new ones. You still were able to bring your cars on campus. You just weren't allowed to go anywhere in those cars. Oh, man, I tell you what, I'd have trouble watching my car sit there. But maybe dipping your ring in Crown Park or having your ring dance outside will be a new standard. The Super Bowl of intercompany sports may become an annual event. And by the way, congratulations to the Bravo Company, by the way, for your victory. You can clap, it's okay. Even if you lost, you got to clap. And though everything you found through it all, you found ways to excel in the classroom and in athletics. You've got 9 All-Americans in your ranks today, including record setter in the track and field 5,000 meters. And most importantly, you had each other's backs. When times got hard, you were there for one another. That's something you'll all learn quickly at the Academy. You can't crew the Tall Ship Eagle without working together. It's not possible. So the pandemic didn't change that, but it made it more important. I know we wish more of your loved ones could be here today to celebrate with you in person, packed into the stands for your big day, especially because so many of you come from families of proud traditions of service. First class Rachel Pache is about to become the third generation Academy grad. Meanwhile, first class Jacqueline Tidd bucked a long tradition in her family, joined the Coast Guard, came to the Coast Guard Academy over the Naval Academy, and unlike her mother, father, uncle, and grandfather. Well, Cadet Tidd, there's a seat on Air Force One if you have to get home. It may be tough. I can only assume that you will enjoy educating your family about how the Coast Guard is, quote, the hard nucleus around the Navy forms in times of war. You're a really dull class. I mean, come on, man. Is the sun getting to you? I would think you'd have an opportunity when I say that about the Navy to clap, but being here together. But all kidding aside, being here together is a victory in and of itself, an important marker in the progress we've made to turn the tide of this pandemic. It's a testament to the skill and military discipline, sense of responsibility you already embody. So there's no doubt in my mind that the 140th graduating class of the United States Coast Guard Academy will reflect the very best of our country and the proudest traditions of our service. Look, in just a few minutes, you will be ensigns in the U.S. Coast Guard. But the only anchor cadet is the only one going home with $240 in his pocket. And before I go much further, as your Commander-in-Chief, I've been looking forward to being able to do this for a long time. I want to keep a long-standing tradition and here it goes. I hereby absolve all those serving restrictions of minor infractions absolved. Now, you have no idea how much I wish I'd have been able to do that at my graduation. At my graduation from the University of Delaware. Because I need, as we say in my faith, I needed absolution. You all think I'm kidding, I'm not. Minor infractions like using a fire extinguisher to hose down an RA, but other than that, nothing much. Look, cadets, today you're joining a chain of service that links each of you to our history. It's a connection to the very earliest days of our nation as part of this country's oldest continuous seagoing service. But no class gets to choose the world into which it graduates. And demands and the challenges you're going to face in your career are going to look very different than those who walked these halls before you. You chose, as a class motto, reflects this reality. You said, we are the future. I don't think you have any idea how profound that assertion is. The world is changing. We're at a significant inflection point in world history. And our country and the world, the United States of America, has always been able to chart the future in times of great change. We've been able to consistently renew ourselves. And time and again, we've proven there's not a single thing we cannot do as a nation when we do it together. And I mean that, not a single solitary thing. And this is particularly important in this moment of accelerating global challenges, hybrid threats that don't stop at our border. We have to meet them on the land and the sea, wherever we find them. And that's where the Coast Guard excels. Pandemic response would not necessarily have been considered a Coast Guard mission until there were more than 250,000 stranded cruise passengers who needed to be safely disembarked during COVID-19. Now we see with harrowing clarity how important halting this pandemic and improving our ability to prevent and respond to the next one is in our national security. That's why 500 Coast Guard reservists have deployed in support of FEMA and other nationwide vaccination efforts. Disaster response has long been part of the Coast Guard's mission, but with the pace of climate change accelerating, we're seeing more frequent and more intense storms that call for you to respond. Last year was the most active hurricane season on record, 30 named storms. And the Coast Guard was always there to respond, even at the height of the pandemic. But you've also been a part of our response to wildfires in the West, record flooding in the heart of the country. And these patterns are only going to get worse if we fail to take immediate and ambitious actions on climate. Whether it's interdicting illicit drug shipments at sea before they enter the United States, or your stewardship of the environment, the Coast Guard has always recognized the broader definition of our national security. Alexander Hamilton may have been among the first to champion the principle that economic security is national security when he created the Revenue Cutter Service. But if it was true in 1790, it's gospel in 2021. The best way to meet the wide array of threats we face today is by investing in America's enduring advantages and ensure that we're operating from a position of strength. Our economic vitality at home, our ability to trade with the world is essential to that strength. More than 1/4 of the U.S. GDP is transported through the waters to keep us safe, And we're going to increasingly see our skills called upon internationally as well. For decades, the United States has underwritten international maritime security. We and our partners have kept the sea lanes open and secure. We developed clear rules of the road. Behavior is in bounds, important, out of bounds for other nations, to ensure that we can share peacefully in the natural bounty of the sea. And for decades, those rules supported global economic strength that benefited nations everywhere and helped people around the world develop their economic potential. But as you know, increasingly, we're seeing those rules challenged, both by the rapid advance of technology and the disruptive actions of nations like China and Russia, with whom I've had direct discussions of this with President Xi as well as President Putin. Long-standing basic maritime principles like freedom of navigation are a bedrock of global economic and global security. When nations try to game the system or tip the rules in their favor, it throws everything off balance. That's why we are so adamant that these areas of the world that are the arteries of trade and shipping remain peaceful, whether that's the South China Sea, the Arabian Gulf, and increasingly the Arctic. It's of vital interest to America's foreign policy to secure unimpeded flow of global commerce. And it won't happen without us taking an active role to set the norms of conduct, to shape them around democratic values, not those of autocrats. That's why we'll continue to support the United Nations Convention on the Law of the Seas, which outlines many of the key principles to ensure that our waters of our planet are not exploited by any one nation, but are preserved for the benefit of all. But they're being challenged now, all of it. So as we work together with our democratic partners around the world to both update the rules for this new age, to hold all of us accountable to living up to those rules, your mission will become even more global and even more important, you have an essential role in our efforts to ensure a free and open Indo-Pacific. Our new agreement for the Coast Guard to partner with Taiwan will help ensure that we're positioned to better respond to shared threats in the region and to conduct coordinated humanitarian and environmental missions. The U.S. Coast Guard partnership with nations throughout the region to take on issues like illegal, unreported, and unregulated fishing are essential to building the muscle of cooperation. When distant water fishing fleets travel thousands of miles to strip maritime resources without regard to catch regulations or internationally established economic zones, it hurts everyone. Which is why we sent the U.S. Coast Guard, Qatar, Bergdorf, to partner with Ecuador last summer to disrupt and deter a Chinese distant water fleet operating near the Galapagos Islands. We're fielding requests from other nations all across the Indo-Pacific that are eager to partner with our Coast Guard because of your reputation of professionalism and your unrivaled skill. The Coast Guard will be an increasingly central element in our engagement in the Indo-Pacific to protect lives, to preserve the environment, to safeguard sovereignty throughout the region. In the Arabian Gulf, we're in the process of deploying 6 new fast response cutters to update Patrol Force Southwest Asia. The Coast Guard's expertise is helping our partners in the region to enforce maritime law and perform search and seizure operations. I'm sure you all saw the pictures of the enormous load of illicit weapons confiscated in the Arabian Sea, all laid out across the rear deck of the USS Monterey. Coast Guard was critical to that seizure and to keeping those weapons out of conflict in the region. Based alongside the U.S. Navy 5th Fleet in Bahrain, you have to face down harassment of Iranian fast attack boats in recent weeks. And in recent weeks, the U.S. Coast Guard cutter, Maui, had to fire 30 warning shots to deter such irresponsible and unsafe maneuvers in the region. The world is changing. We need you even more. And in the Arctic, the Coast Guard is a proud American presence in the region, rapidly growing in strategic importance. As ice recedes and new sea lanes open, we, the United States, are an Arctic nation. The United States must demonstrate our leadership and engagement. Our diplomacy and our operational skill, we must continue to model responsible maritime behavior and uphold clear rules of international agreements that will protect and steward this pristine environment and secure it for future generations. And by the way, as you know by now, to protect our homeland security as well. We have to make sure that every country respects these international norms. So we need modern icebreakers, yes. But just as critically, we need to stand shoulder to shoulder with those allies and partners who share our values, including indigenous communities who are the keepers of traditional knowledge about the Arctic waters. Class of 2021, it's time for you to go out and be the future, to make the future. You've learned your history and your science. You've predicted and practiced your disciplines on land and sea. You've shown that you are salty. This year, the Academy has graduated a class that is just over 1/3 women. And those, you got it. I was telling the Commandant, I just appointed 3 women as combatant commanders around the world. And those numbers are going up year by year. As I said, I recently nominated Vice Admiral Linda Fagan, class of '85 in the Coast Guard is the first female 4-star admiral. We need to see more women at the highest levels of command. We have to make sure that women have the chance to succeed and thrive throughout their careers. There's a saying we use in a different context, a Chinese saying. It says, women hold up half the world. It's an absolutely stupid position not to make sure they represent at least half of what we do. Every member of our armed forces should feel safe and respected in the ranks. That's why my administration is committed to taking on the scourge of sexual assault and harassment in the military. You're joining a service that not only serves as America's front line, it increasingly looks like America. This year's class is also just over 1/3 underrepresented minorities, including some of the highest number of African Americans, Asian Americans, and Pacific Islanders. Each of you will be asked to lead people who come from different backgrounds. Your challenge as a leader is to treat every single person with equal dignity and respect and find ways to unlock everyone's talent. You know, you've already done some important work as a class, including with a class-wide equity walk and discussion groups in the wake of George Floyd's murder. Our national successes depend on our capacity to harness the full range of ideas and experience that exists in our country and deliver on the promise of the American dream for all America. You know, America's unique. America's the only country in the world that's founded on an idea. You can define every other country in the world based on ethnicity or geography. We're the only one based on an idea, not a joke. The idea was, we hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men and women are created equal, endowed by their Creator with certain inalienable rights, life, liberty, the pursuit of happiness. We hear it all the time, but it's who we are. We can't be different than attempting to continue to have that arc move toward justice. Or this generation of graduates, of new ensigns of the United States Coast Guard, who have volunteered to serve our country, I've never been more optimistic about our future. You understand in your bones that our diversity is one of the enduring advantages and inherent strengths to America. In your careers, you're going to face challenges you can't predict. You'll be asked to lead in ways and navigate new paths. But when the storms gather or the seas of life grow rough, remember the Coast Guard's marching song to sing on land and sea. Through surf and storm, howling gale, high shall your purpose be. The class of 2021, you have it all. You really do. And we need you badly. And that's not hyperbole. The country needs you. Press always asks me why I'm so optimistic about America's chances in the world. And I've said from the time I decided to run, because of this generation, you're the most progressive, best educated, least prejudiced, most open generation in American history. We need you badly. You're ready. It's time to get underway. God protect you all as you set out on your journey, and may God protect all those who wear the uniform of the United States of America. God bless America. Thank you very much.
On behalf of the Academy, thank you, Mr. President, for being here with us today and honoring the Academy and the Coast Guard with your presence. I would like to now present the United States Coast Guard Band, conducted by Commander Adam Williamson, who will perform a medley of service marches. All past and present members of the military are invited to stand and sing as the band plays their respective anthem. Thank you, Commander Williamson and the members of the Coast Guard Band. At this time, I am pleased to introduce Dr. Kurt Colella, Dean of Academics, who will present the candidates for degrees.
Mr. President, Governor Lamont, Secretary Mayorkas, Admiral Schultz, Rear Admiral Kelly, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. Will the candidates for the degree of Bachelor of Science please rise? Admiral Kelly, as Dean of Academics, I have the honor of presenting to you the candidates for the degree of Bachelor of Science. They have been examined and approved by the faculty.
Dean Colella, thank you first and foremost for your 40 years of dedicated service to our nation. By virtue of the authority vested in me, I now confer upon each of you the degree of Bachelor of Science and admit you to all its rights and privileges. Congratulations, class of 2021. Well done.
Class of 2021, please be seated. I am now pleased to introduce Captain Arthur Ray, the United States Coast Guard Academy's 37th Commandant of Cadets, who will present the candidates for commissioning as ensigns in the United States Coast Guard.
President Biden, Governor Lamont, Secretary Mayorkas, Admiral Schultz, Rear Admiral Kelly, ladies and gentlemen, members of the class of 2021, good afternoon. Admiral Schultz, as Commandant of Cadets, I have the honor of presenting to you the candidates for commission of ensign in the United States Coast Guard. They have met all military requirements and have successfully demonstrated competency as leaders of character in the Academy's 200-week leader development program. At this time, I invite you to administer the oath of office to those being commissioned in the United States Coast Guard, sir.
Well, thank you, Captain Ray. And to those members of the class of 2021 being commissioned in the United States Coast Guard today, please rise. Raise your right hand and repeat after me. Having been appointed to the grade of ensign in the United States Coast Guard, I do solemnly swear that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic, that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same, that I take this obligation freely, without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion, that I will well and faithfully discharge the duties of the office upon which I am about to enter. So help me God. You may lower your right hand. Congratulations, ensigns. Welcome to the Officer Corps.
Ensigns, please be seated. Thank you, Admiral Schultz. We will now present the graduating class with their diplomas and commissions. As each graduate approaches the platform today, she or he is being presented with a challenge coin by the Coast Guard Academy Alumni Association. Presenting the gift will be Captain Andrea Marcille, U.S. Coast Guard retired, and the class of 2021's link in the chain representative, Mr. Stephen DeCesare, Coast Guard Academy, class of 1971. The degrees of Bachelor of Science will be presented by the Superintendent, Rear Admiral Bill Kelly. Commissions as ensigns in the U.S. Coast Guard will be presented by our Commander-in-Chief, President Joseph R. Biden, Jr. The Commandant of Cadets, Captain Arthur Ray, will announce the names, major, and unit to which each new ensign is assigned.
Since its founding in 1876, The United States Coast Guard Academy has graduated leaders of character in service to our nation. Out of respect for each graduate, please hold all sounds of acknowledgement and applause until the last graduate has crossed the stage. At this time, we'll give them the thunderous round of applause they so richly deserve. Mateo X. Acuna, Government Major, Coast Guard Cutter Reliance. Joseph Francis Adace, Operations Research and Computer Analysis Major, Coast Guard Cutter Mackinac. Jacob Harmon Aloisi, Government Major, Coast Guard Cutter Joseph Doyle. Seth Jacob Anderson, Management Major, Coast Guard Cutter Mohawk. Thomas Jonathan Ankers, Civil Engineering Major, Coast Guard Cutter James. Sydney Victoria Aaron, Marine and Environmental Sciences Major, Coast Guard Cutter Robert Irid. Luke David Arsenal, Electrical Engineering Major, Coast Guard Basic Flight School. Daisy Ann Lasaka Atian, Management Major, Philippine Coast Guard. Michael Joseph Axelson, Naval Architecture and Marine Engineer Major, Coast Guard Cutter Polar Star. Kylie Michelle Ballard, Marine and Environmental Sciences Major, Coast Guard Cutter Bernard C. Weber. Selena Marie Vance, Electrical Engineering Major, Postgraduate School, Fulbright Scholar, Tampere University, Finland. John Stewart Barber, Government Major, Coast Guard Cutter Weishi. Jennison Kagaranyan Basilio, Operations Research and Computer Analysis Major, Philippine Coast Guard. Diane Shira Lasanyan Boswell, Management Major, Philippine Coast Guard. Cole Joseph Bashelman, mechanical engineering major, Coast Guard cutter, Decisive. Cody Ryan Bellamy, operations research and computer analysis major, Coast Guard cutter, Vigorous. Alexander Noel Bellin, electrical engineering major, Basic Flight School. Jason Bailey Balone, naval architecture and marine engineering major, Coast Guard cutter, Tahoma. Emily Karen Benson, naval architecture and marine engineering major. Eric Cavern Bertolitis, naval architecture and marine engineering major, Basic Flight School. Eugene John Bitzer, management major, Coast Guard cutter, Decisive. Murray Hunter Blankenship, management major, Coast Guard cutter, Northland. Benjamin John Bulldog, mechanical engineering major, Basic Flight School. Kyle Peter Boria, management major, Coast Guard cutter, Tampa. Peyton Joseph Bowler, government major, Coast Guard cutter, Bear. Bridget Arnett Boyle, management major, Coast Guard cutter, Bertolf. Charlotte Claire Brayman, operations research and computer analysis major, Coast Guard cutter, Schneider. Chancey Maurice Brown, government major, Coast Guard cutter, Frederick Hatch. Parker Timothy Broncola, mechanical engineering major, Coast Guard cutter, Seneca. Maxwell Calvin Buchanan, naval architecture and marine engineering major, Coast Guard cutter, Alex Haley. Mary Elizabeth Boudry, operations research and computer analysis major, Coast Guard cutter, Venturous. Stephanie Lynn Burkhard, civil engineering major, Coast Guard cutter, Bertolf. Mitchell Xavier Burris Otero, Management Major, Coast Guard Cutter Donald Horsley. Liam Scott Caro, Electrical Engineering Major, Coast Guard Cutter Dauntless. Jackson Tygart Carpenter, Government Major, Coast Guard Cutter Valiant. Hayden Rosario Carter, Electrical Engineering Major, Coast Guard Cutter Decisive. Abigail Rose Casey, Operations Research and Computer Analysis Major, Coast Guard Cutter Fur. Ryan Michael Casey, Managing Major, Coast Guard Cutter Northland. Lucas Price Caskey, Government Major, Coast Guard Cutter James. Jacob Patrick Cheeseman, Operations Research and Computer Analysis Major, Basic Flight School. Robert Luke Childress, Management Major, Coast Guard Cutter Escanaba. Essler Onhei Cho, Government Major, Coast Guard Cutter Midget. Duncan Gray Clark, Civil Engineering Major, Coast Guard Cutter Bailey Barco. Tyler Lee Clemmer, Civil Engineering Major, Coast Guard Cutter Oliver Henry. Colby Kirby Coco, Managing Major, Coast Guard Cutter Nathan Bruckenthal. Joseph Herbert Collins, Mechanical Engineering Major, Coast Guard Cutter Mackinac. Anthony Vincent Contreras, Government Major, Coast Guard Cutter Raymond Evans. Drusilla June Corbett, Marine and Environmental Sciences Major, Coast Guard Cutter Polar Star. Thomas Paul Castaigne II, Management Major, Coast Guard Cutter Thetis. Jonathan Trent Cox, Management Major, Coast Guard Cutter Richard Snyder. Jake Lee Danzer, Management Major, Coast Guard Cutter Midget. Josiah Lee Davis, government major, postgraduate school, Florida A&M University. Marietta Margaret Davis, Marine and Environmental Sciences major, Coast Guard cutter, Resolute. Mary Catherine Decker, Naval Architecture and Marine Engineering major, Coast Guard cutter, Mackinac. Jeffrey Marshak Gloria, Marine Environmental Sciences major, Coast Guard cutter, Steadfast. Jacob Andrew Dennis, Naval Architecture and Marine Engineering major, Coast Guard cutter, Confidence. Robert Edward Doherty, Marine and Environmental Sciences major, Coast Guard cutter, Healy. Rebecca Celeste Dolan, Electrical Engineering major, Coast Guard cutter, Active. Marco Antonio Dominguez II, Government major, Coast Guard cutter, Stratton. Tyler Gerald Dominic, Mechanical Engineering major, Coast Guard cutter, Tahoma. Dylan James Donahue, Mechanical Engineering major, Coast Guard cutter, Stone. Catherine Lynn Doty, Operations Research and Computer Analysis major, Coast Guard Cyber Network Operations and Security Center. Jake Francis Duffy, a Marine and Environmental Sciences major, Coast Guard cutter, Ford. Linda Ivanova Duncan, Marine and Environmental Sciences major, Coast Guard cutter, Bristol Bay. Ryan Alexander Dunkel, Electrical Engineering major, Coast Guard cutter, Healy. Quinn Elizabeth Epke, Government major, Coast Guard cutter, Dependable. Rachel Claire Everson, Electrical Engineering major, Coast Guard cutter, Diligence. Kyle Jamison Fager, Government major, Coast Guard cutter, Bertzoff. Alexandro Navitidad Fajardo, Civil Engineering major, Coast Guard cutter, Alex Haley. Annabella Monroe Faribault, Marine Environmental Sciences major, Coast Guard cutter, Mohawk. Brenna Claire Farrington, Management major, Coast Guard cutter, Kathleen Moore. Zachary Allen Fedak, Mechanical Engineering major, Marine Safety Unit, HOMA. Craig Thomas Feeney, Management major, Coast Guard Cutter, Diligence. Hannah Maria Fernandez, Mechanical Engineering major, Coast Guard Cutter, James. Aiden Michael Fierst, Management major, Coast Guard Cutter, Dauntless. John David Fitzpatrick, Marine and Environmental Sciences major, Coast Guard Cutter, Sycamore. Wishwa Fonseca, Naval Architecture and Marine Engineering major, Sri Lankan Coast Guard. Dylan Sterling Franks, Marine and Environmental Sciences major, Coast Guard Cutter, Stratton. Theodore George Vincent Frisk, Management major, Coast Guard Cutter, Hickory. Eric Whitmore Foos, Operations Research and Computer Analysis major, Coast Guard Cutter, James. Alex Lewis Funches, Civil Engineering major, Coast Guard Cutter, Harriet Lane. Catherine Grace Galloway, Management major, Coast Guard Cutter, Walnut. Christopher Ryan Gardner, Government major, Coast Guard Cutter, Seneca. Justin Alexander Gardner, Management major, Coast Guard Cutter, Dependable. Madison McCain Garvin, Government major, Coast Guard Cutter, Margaret Norville. Owen David Gates, Management major, Coast Guard Cutter, Laguerre. Ethan Armour Gertson, Civil Engineering major, Coast Guard Cutter, Stone. Michael Stephen Gilmore II, Management major, Coast Guard Cutter, Decisive. Benjamin Bruce Glasshagel, Electrical Engineering major, Coast Guard Cutter, Joseph Gersak. Mary Ellis Goins, Management major, Coast Guard Cutter, Stone. Jonas Farai Gordon, Government major, Coast Guard Cutter, Vigorous. Odell Marquise Graham, Management Major, Coast Guard Cutter Jacob Peru. Patrick Joseph Gravlick, Management Major, Basic Flight School. Noelle Grace Greenwood, Civil Engineering Major, Coast Guard Cutter James. Sabrina Rose Hackett, Management Major, Coast Guard Cutter Richard Etheridge. James David Hall, Civil Engineering Major, Coast Guard Cutter Valiant. Cassandra Joy Hamer, Government Major, Coast Guard Cutter Bear. Justin Sujin Han, Operations Research and Computer Analysis Major, Coast Guard Marine Safety Unit, Morgan City. Thomas John Hardy, Electrical Engineering Major, Coast Guard Cutter Alert. Bonnie Joy Hartman, Government Major, Coast Guard Cutter Bertolf. Malia Elizabeth Haskovic, Government Major, Coast Guard Cutter Monroe. Miguel Angel Hernandez, Marine and Environmental Sciences Major, Coast Guard Cutter Joseph Tazanos. Veronica Carol Hine, Management Major, Coast Guard Cutter Sycamore. Erin Rebecca Holland, Government Major, Coast Guard Cutter Mackinac. Andre Kenta Horner, Operations Research and Computer Analysis Major, Coast Guard Cutter Midget. Jason Santino Hool, Operations Research and Computer Analysis Major, Coast Guard Cutter Benjamin Bottoms. Haley Elizabeth Howard, Civil Engineering Major, Basic Flight School. Mateus Patrick Hulk, Marine and Environmental Sciences Major, Basic Flight School. Mia Alexandra Honjeric, Operations Research and Computer Analysis Major, Coast Guard Cyber Network Operations and Security Center. Owen Henry Hurley, Government Major, Coast Guard Cutter Stratton. William Paul Iorio, Government Major, Coast Guard Cutter Campbell. Daniel Curtis Jenkins, Marine and Environmental Sciences major, Coast Guard Cutter Benjamin Daly. Nazir Christian Jones, Management Major, Coast Guard Cutter Robert Ward. Frank Augustus Jocelyn, Government Major, Coast Guard Cutter Thetis. Madeline Mackenzie Kaler, Government Major, Coast Guard Cutter Stone. Alexander Kiosun Kang, Operations Research and Computer Analysis Major, Coast Guard Cutter Escanaba. Kristen Lillian Kelly, Marine and Environmental Sciences Major, Coast Guard Cutter Bristol Bay. Anna Lily Kimball Cook, Government Major, Coast Guard Cutter Rollin Fritsch. Matthew Edward Curse, Civil Engineering Major, Coast Guard Cutter Vigorous. John Anthony Kimmeth, Naval Architecture and Marine Engineering Major, Coast Guard Cutter Stratton. Thomas William Klawinski, Operations Research and Computer Analysis Major, Coast Guard Cyber Network Operations and Security Center. Otney Sharon Golongian, Government Major, Coast Guard Cutter John McCormick. Samantha Grace Koval, Management Major, Coast Guard Cutter Oak. Charlie Elizabeth Creyas, Operations Research and Computer Analysis Major, Coast Guard Sector Miami. Isaac Allen Lalonde, Marine and Environmental Sciences Major, Coast Guard Cutter Elm. Will Thomas Landry, Marine and Environmental Sciences Major, Coast Guard Cutter Steadfast. Christopher George Lansing, Mechanical Engineering Major, Coast Guard Cutter Hamilton. Juliana Linover, Mechanical Engineering Major, Basic Flight School. Joseph Dwayne Leonard, Operations Research and Computer Analysis Major, Coast Guard Cutter Lawrence Lawson. Haley Carol Lewis, Operations Research and Computer Analysis Major, Coast Guard Cutter Midget. Jordan Nathaniel Lindsay, Marine and Environmental Sciences Major, Coast Guard Sector, New York. Felicia Maria Lombardi, Government Major, Coast Guard Cutter Kimball. Catherine Nicole Long, Marine and Environmental Sciences major, Coast Guard Cutter William Hart. Cole Catherine Lord, Marine and Environmental Sciences major, Coast Guard Sector, Puget Sound. Zachary Martin Lukasik, Operations Research and Computer Analysis major, Coast Guard Cutter Valiant. Graham Evan Luongo, Management major, Coast Guard Cutter Confidence. Jacqueline Raquel Marr, Operations Research and Computer Analysis major, Basic Flight School. Jenna Ann Manning, Operations Research and Computer Analysis major, Coast Guard Cutter William Hart. Aaron Molili Martin, Civil Engineering major, Coast Guard Cutter Bertolf. Connor James Mason, Civil Engineering major, Coast Guard Cutter Willow. Alexander Joseph Mastel, Government major, Coast Guard Cutter Stratton. Haley Marie McHugh, Electrical Engineering major, Basic Flight School. Graham Bronwyn McGill, Civil Engineering major, Coast Guard Cutter Midget. Jesse Dalton McKnight, Management major, Coast Guard Cutter Harriet Lane. Ryan Wilson McNary, Electrical Engineering major, Coast Guard Cutter Alert. John Tobin McNiff, Naval Architecture and Marine Engineering major, Basic Flight School. Roy Edward Melvin, Electrical Engineering major, Coast Guard Cutter Ford. Peter Edward McCauley, Jr., Management major, Coast Guard Cutter Reliance. Heather Ashley Miller, Operations Research and Computer Analysis major, Coast Guard Cutter Vigilant. Justin Michael Moffitt, Government major, Coast Guard Cutter Spar. Samuel Anthony Monaco, Naval Architecture and Marine Engineering major, Coast Guard cutter Dauntless. Caitlin Amanda Mooney, Management Major, Postgraduate School, Rutgers University. Kyle William Morley, Government Major, Coast Guard cutter Bear. James Duncan Morrison, Management Major, Coast Guard cutter Kimball. Patrick Kelly Monahan, Management Major, Coast Guard cutter Tahoma. Chase Elise Murphy, Management Major, Coast Guard Marine Safety Unit, Portland. Lauren Ayana Morrow, Government Major, Basic Flight School. Christina Kim Nguyen, Management Major, Coast Guard cutter Seneca. Eric Joseph Dinoco Noble, Government Major, Philippine Coast Guard. Christina Marie No Thatcher, Management Major, Coast Guard cutter Charles Sexton. Megan Elizabeth O'Brien, Management Major, Coast Guard cutter John McCormick. Sean Edward O'Connor, Mechanical Engineering Major, Coast Guard cutter Daniel Tarr. Richard Paul O'Leary, the third Naval Architecture and Marine Engineering Major, Coast Guard cutter active. Joshua Albert Ordonez, Naval Architecture and Marine Engineering Major, Basic Flight School. Philip Michael Orlando, Electrical Engineering Major, Coast Guard cutter Stone. Kazuki Oshiro, Mechanical Engineering Major, Coast Guard Sector Mobile. Jackson Clark Autober, Management Major, Coast Guard Cutter Venturous. Noah William Pagaputan, Naval Architecture and Marine Engineering Major, Coast Guard Cutter Resolute. Stephen Bradley Flores Pangilinan, Manager Major, Coast Guard Cutter Myrtle Hazard. Jordan Carolyn Park, Operations Research and Computer Analysis Major, Coast Guard Cutter Juniper. Rochelle Ann Saga Paroka, Management Major, Coast Guard Cutter Valiant. Sarah Lynn Pasila, Mechanical Engineering Major, Coast Guard Cutter Steadfast. Jessup Ethan Powalczyk, Naval Architecture and Marine Engineering Major, Coast Guard Cutter Vigilant. Matthew Alexander Polisik, Operations Research and Computer Analysis Major, Coast Guard Cutter Elm. Daniel Joseph Beliebler, Naval Architecture and Marine Engineering Major, Coast Guard Cutter Laguerre. Daniel Christopher Phillips, Government Major, Coast Guard Cutter Laguerre. Rachel Elizabeth Perche, Electrical Engineering Major, Coast Guard Cutter Aspen. Matthew DePaul Pendle, Government Major, Coast Guard Cutter Midget. Justin Alexander Radcliffe, Operations Research and Computer Analysis Major, Coast Guard Cutter Tahoma. Nathaniel Joseph Ralph, Operations Research and Computer Analysis Major, Basic Flight School. Catherine Elizabeth Rentz, Operations Research and Computer Analysis Major, Coast Guard Cutter Isaac Mayo. Maeve Catherine Roach, Naval Architecture and Marine Engineering Major, Coast Guard Cyber Network Operations and Security Center. Dominic Vincent Roberts, Management Major, Coast Guard Cutter, Sandoval. Dylan Wesley Roberts, Management Major, Coast Guard Cutter, Angela McShann. Sabrina Kenzie Robertson, Civil Engineering Major, Basic Flight School. Trenton Elon Robledo Thomas, Operations Research and Computer Analysis Major, Coast Guard Cutter, Joseph Tozanos. Joshua Michael Romano, Operations Research and Computer Analysis Major, Coast Guard Cutter, Hamilton. Philip Victor Torres Romero, Naval Architecture and Marine Engineering Major, Coast Guard Cutter, Edgar Culbertson. Christopher Creighton Rosello, Electrical Engineering Major, Coast Guard Cutter, Dependable. Connor David Rowing, Marine and Environmental Sciences Major, Coast Guard Cutter, Forward. Leilani Joy Salang, Government Major, Coast Guard Cutter, Kemble. Luisa Bernardi Santos, Civil Engineering Major, Coast Guard Cutter, active. Katie Lee Scavo, Naval Architecture and Marine Engineering Major, Coast Guard Cutter, Kimball. Eric Carl Schultz, Government Major, Coast Guard Cutter, Dependable. Aaron Caroline Schultz, Government Major, Coast Guard Cutter, Forward. Marshall Jacob Seguin, Operations Research and Computer Analysis Major, Coast Guard Cutter, Monroe. William John Sergio, Operations Research and Computer Analysis Major, Coast Guard Cutter, Escanaba. Aduli Raylan Sievers, Operations Research and Computer Analysis Major, Coast Guard Cutter, Mackinac. Sean Edward Seidler, Government Major, Coast Guard Cyber Network Operations and Security Center. Thomas Allen Seidner III, Operations Research and Computer Analysis Major, Coast Guard Cutter, Tampa. Emmy Nicole Seidler, Operations Research and Computer Analysis major, Coast Guard Cutter Healy. Oliver Dean Simon, Government major, Coast Guard Cutter Oliver Berry. Emma Grace Sims, Government major, Coast Guard Cutter Kemble. Nathaniel Stephen Skarbach, Government major, Coast Guard Cutter Weishi. Gunner Michael Smith, Operations Research and Computer Analysis major, Coast Guard Cutter Monroe. Henry William Smith, Civil Engineering major, Coast Guard Cutter Hollyhock. Faith Noel Snow, Marine and Environmental Sciences major, Coast Guard Cutter Harold Miller. Mark Anthony Sporey, Jr., Marine and Environmental Sciences major, Coast Guard Cutter Hamilton. Santhros Sejansi, Management major, Georgian Coast Guard. Kennedy Miela Starks, Government major, Coast Guard Cutter Humberto Hernandez. Justin Coverdale Steiner, Operations Research and Computer Analysis major, Coast Guard Cyber Network Operations and Security Center. Zachary Reed Stone, Manager major, Coast Guard Cutter Escanaba. David Seth Strayer, Naval Architecture and Marine Engineering major, Coast Guard Sector Houston Galveston. Nicholas Andrew Zepp, Government major, Coast Guard Cutter Northland. Daniel Joseph Taglinetti, Manager major, Basic Flight School. Grace Fitzpatrick Tarbrick, Civil Engineering major, Coast Guard Cutter Healy. Lindsay Marie Taro, Government major, Basic Flight School. Ruth Ran Tian, Electrical Engineering major, Coast Guard Cyber Network Operations and Security Center. Jacqueline Jennifer Tidd, Marine and Environmental Sciences major, Coast Guard Cutter Winslow Greaser. Charles Henry Tobin, Electrical Engineering major, Coast Guard Cutter Weishi. Nicholas Twivdiani, Management major, Georgian Coast Guard. Thomas Christian Yule, Mechanical Engineering major, Coast Guard Cutter Campbell. Nicholas Daniel Urias, Mechanical Engineering major, Coast Guard Cutter Laguerre. Aiden Joseph Uvani, Civil Engineering major, Coast Guard Cutter Polar Star. Matthew Thomas Varney, Operations Research and Computer Analysis major, Basic Flight School. Megan Amanda Wadley, Naval Architecture and Marine Engineering major, Coast Guard Cutter Venturous. Jonathan James Wagner, Management major, Coast Guard Cutter Reliance. Thomas Patsy Wallen, Operations Research and Computer Analysis major, Coast Guard Cutter Mohawk. Jack Ernest Ryan Walker, Marine and Environmental Sciences major, Coast Guard Cutter Diligence. Joshua Chapman Webster, Mechanical Engineering major, Basic Flight School. Sarah June Wenzel, Government major, Coast Guard Cutter Winslow Greaser. John Cole Williams, Management major, Coast Guard Cutter Mobile Bay. Brianna Alexis Rashawn Willis, Management major, Coast Guard Cutter Northland. George Justin Wismar, Operations Research and Computer Analysis major, Coast Guard Cutter Willow. Zachary Michael Woods, Mechanical Engineering major, Basic Flight School. Abigail Lane Zielis, Government Major, Coast Guard Cutter Williams Flores. Milese Joanne Yepes Burak, Electrical Engineering Major, Coast Guard Cutter Diligence. Ryan Cheng Hoon Yu, Operations Research and Computer Analysis Major, Coast Guard Sector, San Francisco. Jordan Michael Idiarte, Government Major, Coast Guard Cutter, Spencer. Joseph Michael Zingarella, Naval Architecture and Marine Engineering Major, Coast Guard Cutter, Tampa. Ladies and gentlemen, the graduates of the class of 2021.
Ensign Phil Orlando, President of the Coast Guard Academy Class of 2021, please come to the podium to make a special presentation.
Thank you, Mr. President. On behalf of the class of 2021, I would like to present to you this token of our appreciation.
Oh, what a great gift. I hope I won't need this anytime soon.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the alma mater and remain standing until the conclusion of the ceremony. Chaplain Kimberly Kane will now deliver the benediction.
Holy God, we ask you to send your Spirit upon our graduates today. Bless them as they go forth as officers commissioned to protect our borders and the peoples of the United States. As they stand before us now, surrounded by family and friends, help them realize the hard work and sacrifices they made will benefit themselves and everyone they encounter as officers in the United States Coast Guard. May they move on to the next chapter of their lives, meeting the challenges and adventures that lie ahead, and living the core values of honor, respect, and devotion to duty. Let them use these tools to make wise decisions and ensure safety of their shipmates and all those they seek to help and serve. Lord, as our Coast Guard officers go forth to face the many dangers and threats of today's troubled world, please, God, watch over them always and let them be a sign of hope and light to others in times of fear and disaster. May these new officers see themselves as peacekeepers and protectors of freedom who bring stability and order to our grateful country. Through your grace we pray, amen. Go in peace and continue to serve always.
Ensigns of the class of 2021, you may now divest yourself of all symbols of cadet life. Platform party and presenters of commissions, please recover. Audience, remain in place until the departure of the official party, the playing of the Stars and Stripes Forever, and the recessional. New ensigns and other military members, 10 hut. Those covered, hands salute. Now, United States of America, departing. Now, Homeland Security departing.